Hi guys, welcome to day 24, and today we're going to be talking about purpose and vision. Now, vision is what gives direction to purpose, right? And today we're just going to be exploring the relationship between purpose and vision, and we're going to be looking at what really makes a vision, and certain things that may pose as a challenge to your vision or vision generally. So vision is not just what you want, it's what you see ahead and you're willing to intentionally move towards, right? So it's a clear picture of the future that pulls you emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually, and practically. The purpose is not just wishful thoughts or imagination. It's something, it's a compelling picture that is able to determine your choices, sacrifices, priorities, and discipline. So vision answers the question, what am I becoming? What am I building towards? It gives you a picture of the purpose, right? And where you are going or what you are becoming is as important as why you're doing it, right? So purpose is important, but having a vision is also very important. And there's something very interesting about vision is that you don't really need to be a purposeful person in quotes to have a vision, right? Every single person has something in mind, a dream, a desire, a something that they desire to be or to do. Every single person does, right? And this is regardless of whether you're working in purpose or you're just a dreamer or you're just there, right? Regardless of it, everybody has a vision. So it's possible for you to have a vision, right, and still not be living a very purposeful life. It's just like the proverb says. It says that a lazy man desires but has nothing. It just tells you that everybody has the capacity to dream. Everybody has the capacity to envision something, right? But only those who are actually working this part of purpose can actually get or attain to their vision, right? And so there's a difference between having a dream, having a goal, having a desire, having a vision, and then actually attaining it, right? Because everybody can dream, but not everyone is able to live their dreams. Vision may start in your mind, but it's not meant to stay there. So one of the things that make a vision is that it will stretch you, right? And when people say things like, oh, dream big, or people say that if your dreams do not scare you, then it's not worth it, right? So what they are trying to say is that the things that you envision, right, if they don't require that you stretch yourself or that you grow or that you transform reasonably, then that's most likely not a compelling vision. So vision must stretch you, right? Vision must stretch you, because if your vision is not as impossible or as scary, compared to your current state, then what's going to happen is that you're always going to settle for less, right? And so you being a student, and let's say you're currently in the second class, right? But then you just have this vision that, let's say for example, someday, or let's say you're currently in the third class, someday you're going to become the president of your country or something like that, right? So compared to your current level, the chances are less likely, based on your academic qualifications and all of that. How is that ever going to happen, right? But then the vision is there. And mind you, vision does not care about your current state, right? Because your current state can never match up to it. So it cares about the state that you're about to come into or the state that you're about to become, right? So if you really want your vision to be clearer, it becomes clearer the more you grow, right? The more you unveil your potentials, the more you engage in consistent and continual growth, right? The vision becomes clearer because you're growing, your mindset is changing, you're becoming a better version of yourself daily. So the vision is now clearer. So maybe as a student, you'll not be able to say, you just have it in mind, okay, one day, but after school you get opportunities or you see yourself doing one or two things, and then the vision is clearer, the path becomes clearer, right? And so when it comes to vision, right, sometimes the path or the journey may not be clear, or it may not be made visible, rather you just have it in mind, but the path may not be visible. But as you continue to engage and work towards it, right, it becomes more clear, right? It becomes less blurry. Everything begins to make sense. There's a difference between a vision and a goal, right? Vision is long term, goals are short term, right? And so you have goals to achieve your vision, but your vision is what actually governs your goals. It's what inspires your goal, right? So all the goals that you have at the beginning of the new year, all of that is towards working to your vision, right? Working to whatever you envision. And mind you, as you continue to grow, as you continue to engage, like I said, your vision, it doesn't just become clearer, but it also begins to expand, right? It begins to expand. So let's say, example, the student, decide to be the president of the nation. That was his vision, right? But as he continues in that journey, he also begins to see himself, owning multi-billion dollar businesses and all of that. Is the vision is expanding, right? And is expanding does not mean that it's changing. Like I said, you are the one changing, and so as you change your perspective, everything, exposure, and so that makes the vision more clearer, and that is the vision can expand. Right, let's say you have a YouTube channel, right, and your vision is to have 1 million followers, right? As you get to maybe 500,000 followers, right, it begins to expand, right? You begin to see much more possibility. So the vision begins to expand, and you're like, oh, if I can make 500,000 followers in 1 year, then I think I can raise the bar up to 5 million followers. And when you get to half of 5 million followers, it just begins to expand, right? So the vision grows as you grow, and that's why there's no place for less. You can never settle for less when you're a purposeful person that has a vision, because the vision keeps expanding. Today, you may be desiring to graduate the first class. Tomorrow, you may be desiring to, be the richest man in the world, and so on, right? So vision expands. So don't think that once you achieve that thing that is in your mind now, you're going to be at rest. No, chances are that before you achieve that thing, the vision must have expanded into something much more bigger. That's because it keeps on drawing you, right? The vision, it keeps on drawing a better version of yourself, and the same with purpose too. So like we said, purpose is a journey, it's not a destination, right? So it keeps on drawing you. When you think you can never arrive in the journey of purpose or in your vision, right? So once you get there, you just know there's this demand for more. Like, I've reached 1 million followers. Now there has to be more, right? And so you raise the bar up 5 million, raise the bar up 10 million, because there's always more, and vision expands, right? And so therefore you can never settle for less if you're a purposeful person, because once you see the possibility of the thing that you had in your mind, you're just drawn into, thinking more, believing more, dreaming more. Also, vision is not just what you see. Vision is strength. Beyond sight, vision is strength. Now, if you have a vision concerning any area of your life, or your life generally, right, it strengthens you in down times, right? And this is why your vision must be clear and vivid, right? It must be clear and vivid, just like your goals are measurable, but your vision must be clear and vivid, so that when you are in times of uncertainty or discouragement, or you're having setbacks, you can go back to it, and it will strengthen you, right? It will strengthen you. You that picture comes back to your mind, and you begin to imagine it, and then you come to a consciousness that I may be facing some challenges now, but it's still not worth it to give up on this dream, to give up on this vision, right? So it strengthens you. So vision is not just what you see. Vision is strength. Vision is strength, right? Vision is strength. You see that many people that you see that have a track record of consistency or faithfulness to their work and all that, but it's not just because they are just very strong, mentally strong people or emotionally strong people, but because they know where they are going to. They have a sense of where they are going to, and they know that all of these setbacks that they may experience in that journey is not enough reason for them to give up on it. And so what happens when they experience a setback? They go back to the picture, they look at it, they look at the challenge, and they be like, nah, it's not worth it, right? It's not, this thing cannot be the reason why I give up on this. No, this is far much important. And then they continue again, they look at it, they close their eyes, they envision it, they picture it, they write it down, they say it over and over again, and they get back, on the race, because they know where they are headed to, and they know that they must get there. That's part of purpose. So having a sense of purpose, it just keeps you glued to this path, it keeps you glued to this journey. And so purpose must be engaged beyond your mind. Write it down, say it, think about it, reflect about it as much as you can. And lastly, right, your purpose also influences your decision, the sacrifices you make down, because you look at where you're going to, and then you look at where you are now. What do you need to do now? to get to where you're going to. All right, and this is something that people don't actually, investigate a lot. Right, I have a dream, I have a vision, but how am I working towards it? Have we actually sat down to count the cost? Right, what will it take for me to get to this place? It will not just come to you, right? You have to work towards it. You have to grow towards it. So, okay, let's say you want to be a president or something, what can you be doing now? What should you not be doing also? Because there are things that you should not do, and there are things that you should be doing. So you must know the two of them. It's not just automatic. Okay, if I'm doing this, I should not be doing this. Sometimes it's not as automatic as that, right? So you know that you should be studying, doing research now or something, maybe doing little advocacy programs for something, right? And then what you should not be doing should be like maybe making useless or careless statements on Instagram, social media rather, about certain things or certain people, right? So it should be clear the things you should be doing and the things you should not be doing, right? The sacrifices that you have to make. This one is very important. It has to be clear. You have to make up. You have to not only make up your mind, but also actually believe that if I have to be the president someday, there are some sacrifices I need to make now. Sacrifices of time, sacrifices of friendships, sacrifices of pleasure and minimum, right? So where you're going to determines what you are doing at the moment, right? And so yes, in this journey you will have progresses and successes, right? It's good to celebrate them, acknowledge them, right? But don't stay there, right? That's not what you saw in your vision. That's not what you envisioned, right? So don't stay there. Maybe we have already be receiving applauses and praises and recognition, but that's not all, right? You know that's not all. So you have to constantly be driving towards that picture, because you have to attain this vision. There's just a sense of restlessness in you. It just makes you naturally an ambitious person, right? Not because you want to do so many things, but because there's this restlessness. You have somewhere you're going. You're in a mission, right? Talk about this maybe tomorrow. You're on a mission, right? You have somewhere you're going. So there are certain things you'll not do. You understand? So I hope you learned one or two things today. See you tomorrow.